shoot you a message, but I
And they're not making it
text you about
Oh, yeah, that's right.
you did? I was going to. I got carried away with other notes.
I don't want to go car rides. There might be a few things we need to add to our, I don't want to go to I've decided to. No, I stopped. Well, I don't know, you guys might be better off. I don't kind of wear them all. Heated something up and inhaled it. It's all still like right here. Eyes are adjusted, it takes, and it causes a little bit of pain.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I should have sent you an email. She said it was amazing. We might start selling it.
Rich did, so we had Layla's Sweet 16 family birthday party yesterday. So we had made a bunch of stuff on the ribs and everything, and so that's what I figured out. So good. Oh yeah. Were you there a lot?
Him and I went out there this Saturday. We watched the game in a row.
Yeah.
Basically on our eyes, almost 7.
Yeah.
Took a little break.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
4 days on everything. So the railroad track.
Yeah.
I mean, just 2007 had 30,000 miles. That's the 1 year.
I just want to make sure that
So I started with the worst, and I thought I'd kill the worst of it first.
I used to love that, but I hate that. Anything with video, I've never really loved, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Tell us when we can come over. And we'll get you all hooked up, teach us stuff. Oh my God. Can help you with. We can help. Yeah. Oh, no. A new grandbaby is a great time to start. Good evening. Welcome to the Raymond School District number 14 regular school board meeting on this July 29th, 2024. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business. It is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. This meeting is now called to order, 5:31. Please rise and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we have a roll call of attendance, please?
Audrey Kostic,
Here.
Janelle Wise,
Here.
Mike Powers,
Here.
Ed Robinson,
Here.
Patty Wren,
Here.
Thank you. Verification of public notice pursuant to 19.841 Wisconsin statutes.
the meeting was published in all of the usual places.
Okay, thank you. Approve the agenda of this meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda of this meeting. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. on to consent agenda. I think we'll do these individually, so let's start with the approval of regular meeting minutes from June 17th, 2024. Do you have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, approval of special meeting minutes from June 24th, 2024.
So
Yep.
moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the special meeting minutes from June 24th. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of special meeting minutes from July 8th, 2024. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
A motion and a second for the special meeting minutes from July 8th, 2024? Oh, did I jump ahead? No. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Policy Committee minutes from July 19th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Did you approve the workshop minutes too?
Pardon me?
Did you approve the workshop minutes from 7 as well?
Yep.
I don't have that on my, the special meeting.
Is it the special workshop? We have a workshop minutes to approve as well.
There's 2 7 8 days.
Oh,
There's
oh,
2 7 8.
oh, all right. So we move back to D, approval of the workshop minutes from 7/8/2024.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And moving on to the Curriculum Committee minutes from 7/22/24. Have a motion?
Move to accept minutes.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Curriculum Committee minutes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to Business and Finance. Financial report, treasurer's report. Ken?
Treasurer's report, beginning balance was $34,803.12. Accounts payable, $502,195.09. Receipts, $495,534.81. Payroll disbursements was $211,077.89. Journal entries was $1,297,885.00. Our ending balance is $1,045,343.71. For the vouchers and payroll approval check numbers, please see the minutes.
Do we have a motion to approve the financial report, vouchers and payroll?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? move to the public, we move to the public portion of the meeting. Yeah.
Nancy Lusan? Lucas?
I'm back again because I brought a couple months ago the fact that records were gone, special ed records. I have not heard really anything other from anyone on the board about what you're going to do to correct your record keeping here. And then I had a meeting because I was told by DPI and CISA that I would rebuild the special education records out of my records with the high school, of which I had a meeting this past week with the high school and CISA. And two things. One, none of the records from the kids in 8th grade have transferred over. The law says you have 5 days after they graduate. Now, they graduated the 6th. This is now, what, 29th? Okay. So it was very embarrassing to be with a CISA person, myself, an administrator of the high school, and find out that nothing has gone over there. Now, I didn't expect my daughter's stuff to be there because I already knew that was gone, but we were there and she wanted to make sure what was in there. So, number one, I'd like to know from the policy group, because I'm not sure who that is, what are you going to do, one, to stay in compliance with state and federal law, because they are state and federal laws and statutes that guide that. The other thing is, as far as I did have some emails with Mr. Leach, that right now the school board is responsible for doing compliance with maintaining security of records here, especially special ed. That is not done. You have no school guidelines. Nobody ever wrote them. They're not in there. Twice, Mr. Leach referred me back to your Neola, but Neola says in there that it is your responsibility to do it. You have to come up with the guidelines that this school is going to use. Well, I think this is important. I know. So those have to be done.
I know I don't have to respond back, but I can, in that I know that Ms. Burke in our office personally delivered, so I'm not sure why the Union Grove staff would be saying that none of our records are over there, because I released her from work. It must have been the second or third day she was here to personally drive over and deliver those things, so I'm not sure.
Well, this was Tuesday. I don't know when she went.
Well, this would have been well before that.
Okay, well,
so-
they said they had no records.
Yeah,
covering it.
that is concerning to me, so I'll make sure to
Yeah.
follow up, upon the completion of this meeting. So that's important, I agree, to get records over there in a timely manner.
Is it? Okay. We have no old business, so we move on to new business. And we have a list. So we'll start with the approval of academic standards for the 2024-2025 school year.
Yes, as we do every July, we approve the standards, and for us, it's a pretty comprehensive list through the state of Wisconsin. So Ms. Marty is here to talk just a little bit about the process here and what we're looking to approve tonight.
So, the standards have not changed. There were no updates for this year. So we're just looking at approving the state standards, which are the standards that, when the kids take the board exam, those are reflected in those subjects, and that's partly where it drives our instruction, and that is partly where our school report card comes from. So, they're all linked. I think we sent you guys the link earlier. There are tons and tons. I'm sure you've all read them all. But there's no changes year over year for this year.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the Wisconsin State's academic standards as our academic standards?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the academic standards. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, moving on to resignations. We have 2 resignations on our list tonight. Kelly Allison Rasmussen, our 2nd grade teacher, and Elaine Calouette, our 4th grade teacher. Is there a motion to approve the resignations?
I understand that there are written requests that they had in the resignations that I believe we need to review separately, so I make a motion to table until after our closed session discussion.
Okay. All right. Have a motion to table this. Do we have a second?
Second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. This action has been tabled. Next, moving on to new hires.
If I may, just want to thank, we've had a pretty extensive hiring process for the vacancies that we had, some of which I walked into in June, and since then, some have occurred, since we had some resignations that we'll be processing, hopefully here tonight. But the reality is, it's been a really great process to sit through. We've engaged our staff. I want to thank the staff, teachers, and faculty that sat on the interview committee teams. We've had multiple rounds of interviews conducted. Ms. Marty and her team, and obviously Ms. Brockman as well, have really done a great job. We had strong applicant pools for most of our positions. Strong is a relative term, keep in mind. The market right now is definitely at a loss of teachers. There is a shortage, but there was a strong pool, applicant pool, meaning double digits for each of our positions that was posted. So we really feel like the panel of new hires we're bringing forward tonight have a great variety of experiences. Some are brand new to the profession, so they'll be kind of cutting their teeth here as new faculty members, new teachers, and others have a wealth of experience, some upwards of 15 to 20, 25 years of experience in their roles. So it was really great to see a variety of people coming in and excited to join the Raymond team. So we're looking forward to making them members tonight of our community and moving forward with some great hires. So.
Okay, is there a motion to approve extending contract to Jenna Delzin,
Elsie, yeah.
2nd grade teacher, Deborah Klein, the school counselor, Alexandria Siselski, district administrative assistant, and Michelle Edwards, middle school teacher.
There's one additional that was just signed today that I put through, and that's Maddie Mursky.
Okay.
She's a special education teacher. And forgive me if I mispronounced her last name. It's got combinations of letters that maybe other people will understand better.
Only Polish people
Only,
understand.
maybe only, yes.
Are we full now?
Right now, as of today, we are fully staffed. We did send out our letters of intent for our paraprofessionals and aides to return, and we received all back for next year. So I knock on whatever you call this surface, that yes, as of today, we are feeling pretty optimistic about our fall staffing expectations.
I'll make a motion to approve as stated.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve extending contracts to the 5 listed. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
I can tell you the staff will be very happy because they want their keys already, and they'd like to have the key fobs all set, and they want to know the earliest they can get in here to get into their rooms. So they've been taking pictures and chomping at the bit here a little bit, which is great energy to bring into the building. So, by the way, you'll also notice the building is just about clean. Shiny halls means kids are coming back soon. So next on will be the bathrooms for a deep scrub, which Bob will be working on here soon. So the teachers were very excited as they came in the halls today. New teachers.
Okay, we move on to D, auditor RFP follow-up and recommendation.
Just a little background, just I want to put it out there. This is something that came as a wonderful gift for me as a new superintendent. We found out on May 9th that our auditor, Schumacher Sama, is no longer working in the public school sector. So this letter we received basically told us that we need to find a new auditor. It was not through anything that could have been prevented. They're no longer serving in this sector. So they'll not be serving as our auditor this summer. An audit is something we're required by law to have. Typically they take place in the summer and are conducted through the months of June, July, and August. We recognize that August is a couple of days away, so we'll be obviously hoping to work through the process to selecting a new auditor. We did receive several responses back. We did an RFP released, which is a request for purchase for services to local firms that were given to us from the DPI, Department of Public Instruction, puts out an auditor list every year, and we did a local search to try and have someone who's within our proximity that could travel and make it here and all those cost-effective things you like to see. We did receive one, which is the posted and recommended company, Lucida LLC, as an interested party for a 3-year agreement. I think I'm saying that correctly, Lucida. We received that submitted to the school district on June 21st, and that is the posted in the packet information that you have. We did not receive 3 bids. We always would like 3 bids, but we also need to make sure we have an audit conducted, which is probably the most important piece of information we can complete to remain compliant and also moving forward, especially given the situation we're in right now with looking at a referendum in the fall. It's important we have all of our numbers as clear and concise as possible. So that's how we sit here with you with the information we have in the packet provided to the board. We did a reference checks, which is what you often will do. Again, working with DPI and local areas that other school districts that have worked with Lucida and received back references that were very strong, and we feel confident in the recommendation that we move forward with Lucida services.
Can you tell us which districts they were? I think we had them, no.
It's part of, I think it's actually listed on the reference list. The one I think that was closest to us is North Cape. We just spoke to, Patty had a conversation with them. So, and then additionally, I have connections to my prior district and talked with their business manager about their services. He used to be an auditor for a different company and was aware of their services, and so he came with a strong recommendation as well. He had 15 years of audit service in his background. So I asked him if he would do it, and he chuckled and said, no, thank you, because he's got enough going on with his district. But
From a cost standpoint, how do they measure up to what we've had in the past?
well, that's a great question. They're more expensive, and I think what we're finding is that costs are adjusting all over the place for a lot of things. We're all feeling it in a lot of different places. This is sort of that higher level gas pump cost equivalent, meaning we are seeing a cost that is higher than we've seen in the past for services. It is in line, and the DPI just did a study that they do every year, and this year especially, on costs. And I can certainly share that with the board if they're interested from DPI's perspective. But we're seeing about a 30 to 45% increase in the cost of audit services across the state. Many of which that's just what's coming in with the market. So their markup is considerably higher than where we were paying last year. Although again, it's in line with other services for districts that are our size. Part of the comparison is we are only so big, so why the cost? But the the strategies implemented and the techniques used within audits are pretty consistent across all districts regardless of size, but the smaller you are, the less you'll have to look at in theory. So there is a comparison that I can certainly share. It's available on the Department of Public Instruction website as well.
And is this a yearly contract or?
This for us is a 3-year contract. They're asking us to commit to them for a 3-year period, which I feel like the longer you have an established relationship with someone, the better the process can go along. Patty did receive, compliments from our last auditor that she gave clean audits. And typically, no issues were presented in terms of errors and omissions and things like that. So it was a good reputation to proceed. But at the same time, I think we were with them for 2 years, or was it 3? The last auditor was Schumacher Sound.
We've had them, since I've started sometime.
Oh, okay, so long time. So again, they were very complimentary. It was a different kind of breakup for us. It was not us, it was them kind of thing. So we had to deal with that, and here's the result.
Is there a deadline in doing an audit? When does this-
Typically, end of August there are some deadlines that DPI puts out for their expected completion of things, and we're approaching that quickly here in August.
Okay.
So we've put Lucida on notice that we'll be reaching out to them should the board decide to approve this tonight. We'll make sure we can move forward.
I know this isn't a public comment portion, but can you explain what they audit?
Sure.
If that's okay?
Sure. And again, I'm not an auditor, so I'm looking into the.
Oh, no, that's
the
okay.
document, so. Well, there's different portions that the audit looks at, and again, this is just them testing the random selection process of items, so they don't do a full every single receipt that's ever touched the desk. That's not the way it works. But we look at different services, so they help us look at our preparation of financial statements, the capital assets that we have. That's sort of the basic service package. They examine they do a federal audit, so any grants and monies that we've received, they look at the federal audits, as well as any of our local, and they've got different threshold tests that they run on our local balances. So they will go through and certify our books, so to speak, based on what they dive into. So for the basic services for this year, it's, there's a charge for those things. And then they also do a membership audit, which will look at the assessment of our staff. So they look at our staffing model, they look at the staff that we have, the salaries and benefits, et cetera. So those things that we pay out to people as well.
And they provide a number of reports after they do the audit. It's
Yes.
listed right.
Yep.
As part of the list.
Yes, as part of it, they have a whole list of reports that they will give us that typically, in my past district, they came to us as late as November. But typically, the audit will be then presented to the board, probably by the person from Lucida, that would give us a clean walkthrough, a hopefully clean walkthrough at that time, and then make recommendations based on what their findings, and move forward.
There's a number of guidelines that has to be followed. State.
It's interesting because, again, the DPI is diving in on things like this, which I think are important because districts are experiencing increasing costs, and some of these things happen within districts, and it's hard to find those services, and we want to make sure to keep things on the timeline so we're in alignment with DPI expectations. So it's been helpful.
And it's probably a good thing to have another set of eyes look at this compared to the past auditors. They may
A new audit company.
new
yes.
set of eyes.
Yeah.
I think it's good. Okay.
I will make a motion to approve the 3-year commitment to a contract with Lucida LLC for the purposes of performing our required school district audits as outlined in the proposal received on June 21st, 2024.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 3-year commitment with Lucida. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. move to the agreement for special education services with Union Grove. J1, what does that mean?
John, well, that's one of their numbers.
Okay.
It's like our 14, no one really knows what it means, but it makes you feel cool, looks good on a tattoo. So, the joint school districts all have different labeling systems from back when they were established. So, we are part of a wonderful little consortium here in the area with Union Grove School District, Dover, Yorkville, and ourselves for early childhood services. So, we provide services for special education for students who are, as they're entering school, oftentimes birth to 3-year-old programming and school before school starts. And it's expensive to do that, so we don't have those services ourselves. We share those services with our locals, and that is a cost-saving measure that I think is really important. And so this established agreement was sent over. It's in the board packet, and it basically outlines the services. The total operational costs are estimated at about $193,000, almost $194,000. However, our portion of that is about $34,000. It's about 17% of the total plans for operation, which is a cost-saving measure. And our agreement is typically paid out in 3 installments throughout the year because we don't all receive our money the first day of school. So we receive it January, April, and July. Typically, it's paid out to the consortium. It's managed by Union Grove. They're the holder of the contract, and they issue it to us.
Is that percentage based on the number of students?
Students and need. So some students may have a higher need based on their minutes allocated.
And the early childhood program actually is housed in Union Grove?
Well, we have staff that will work with our staff. There is a room, there's a location there. The offices handle the paperwork, but we have actually students, if I understand correctly, that are here. But
Yes, the district office is in Union Grove, I think.
But the early childhood program itself?
That's a great question. I don't know if it's housed. I haven't met anyone from early childhood here, but
Dana would know.
thank you, Dana, for speaking on my behalf.
We do have some students that have speech only
Yes.
in that category, and we do see those here, but if they're going to be in the full early childhood program, that is in the growth.
Okay.
Thank you.
The reason I ask is when we first brought Pavel home from Russia, he was in the early childhood
Okay.
program, and it was
Sure.
in Union Grove, so I just wondered if that was still.
Well, it's still there.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
I apologize. I've met about
Maybe it's
400
been
people in the last
over by
3
the
weeks, so
minute.
I haven't been an early childhood teacher yet, but
Okay.
yes.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve the agreement for special education early childhood?
So moved?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we move to the agreement for physical therapy services with Union Grove J1.
So similarly, in a cost-saving measure, we have services that are shared across multiple buildings in our area. So Union Grove High School District, Dover 1, Yorkville J2, and ourselves utilize physical therapy services for students who require physical therapy. This allows us to provide services at lower cost as we only have part-time needs because of our size. So, and this is provided here. We do have a space that they come to, thank you. And the services are provided to students based on minutes and identified needs. And so this particular agreement is initially set at $8,212 based on current information. I say that because sometimes the information changes if needs of students change, but based on the preliminary estimates for the year, the anticipated overall cost is $57,485 for the program, for that particular PT program to run, but we pay a portion, $8,212 is our portion at this time.
Is that based on need or just the time? I mean, physical therapy is usually an hourly charge.
It's based on number of minutes that they provide services. Special education is divided up into minutes typically, and so some of the sessions are longer than others, but
Right.
based on need. Yeah.
I never understood why the schools have to support the physical therapy. I mean, they did for my son as well, but you would think insurance would handle that, and SSI or any of the other Medicaid, but.
There are some chargebacks that we're allowed to bill to Medicaid for various
There
services. I don't know specifically if physical therapy is on that list, but I know speech services and some of the other early childhood services are able to be. But at this time, I don't know what that, what that looks like here. But physical therapy is something the schools provide because some of the kids have, and some of it's not as intensive as what you get physical therapy from a hospital or a medical setting. It's more along the lines of physical therapy, occupational therapy.
Okay.
Do we have a motion to approve the agreement for physical therapy services within UGHS Dover Raymond School Districts for the terms outlined in the proposed agreement?
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Is that UG, it is with UGHS, not ES?
Yes.
Okay.
I double read that as well.
Yeah.
Am I reading this wrong? Because there's UGES, I met
Yeah.
with, meeting with Amber here soon. So.
Yeah.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. We have approval of designation for deputy clerk. And that,
If I could actually welcome Allie Sisleski. Siselski? It'll come. It's honestly, you got a tough one. But Allie C.
Allie C.
There you go. And Mrs. C has been wonderful here as she's gotten started here recently, so we're just glad to have her on as the new version of Nikki. And so Nikki was wonderful, big shoes to fill, but you're doing a great job so far. So looking forward to having you. Only time will tell, really. So welcome aboard, glad to have you. And then one of the jobs you have, we weren't able to name last time, is deputy clerk, when we did our reorganization of the board.
Mike, can you explain what a deputy clerk does for the board?
Absolutely. Typically, you get a taser and a deputy clerk really serves as the connection liaison of the community, and so you work with the village office to certify the different elections and votes and tabulate things and report back. And so you work with the board to make sure they're in compliance with the processes that local elections require, as well as anything else the board would like you to work on in that role. So primarily the big ones are working around certification of elections.
So the clerk from the school board doesn't do the elections anymore?
Clerk, they work in cooperation. There's the check and balance for the deputy clerk and clerk. So there's the clerk will still. I must have a little smell to me. There's a fly that really likes it a lot right now. The clerk still certifies, but then the deputy clerk works in cooperation with the clerk and the village to certify the votes.
You're gonna have fun.
Thankfully, you're not counting 400,000 votes, right? That'd be tough if there's a hand count involved, but.
All right, do we have a motion to approve Ally as our deputy clerk?
So moved.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve Ally as our new deputy clerk to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Welcome, Ally.
And notice we didn't give you a chance to back out.
Committee reports. July 19th, policy update.
Yep. So we had our first meeting to go through the backlog of the Neola batches that we have to approve. So this is considered the first reading. We'll have the second reading at the August 24th meeting. The batches for review under draft in Neola are batches 32, which there's two parts to that, and batch 33, which we only have one part to that one, up for our first reading today, and then again, our second reading will be in August. We will list out all of the policies at that point that are included in those batches. Primarily technical changes, I mean, really all technical corrections and changes and updates based on the work that Neola does to make sure that we kind of adapt and clean up the language based on what our state statutes provide. So that's what we have in front of us to approve in the next couple of weeks. We still have a remaining backlog to get through. We plan to regroup in October with Neola to do a deeper walkthrough and walk through what that policy process was. Okay. Playing catch up.
Thank you, Janelle. We move to curriculum update, and I'm going to pass that to Dana.
Okay, we met on the 22nd, and we really talked about three things. We talked about the curriculum review process, which we have brought up before. We know we're piloting the social studies curriculum this year coming up. But we also talked about how, as we're piloting social studies, we're also working, math will be the following year. So we're working on taking a look at our data and our, how we're doing against the standards, how the students are doing. And so those things are always going on at the same time. We explained that students are measured against the state standards for the board exam. And just because we're doing a curriculum review does not mean we're getting a new curriculum. It's just a matter of making sure we're updated and what we're doing is effective. The next thing was just the social studies curriculum review process. We will pilot different curriculums in the classrooms and review the standards. Our first curriculum will be Newsela, or some people call it Newsela, which has an online format. All staff will be trained during professional development. We are also in communication with Yorkville and New Grove Elementary regarding which programs they are using. So I've been making some phone calls to them. And the last thing is we're going to start using a called professional learning communities model, which sounds really fancy, but it's really about teachers getting together and collaborating about their instruction and their results. So we're going to map our curriculum, identify our standards, reflect on our assessments, and use data to inform our instruction. Each subject will meet once a month after school, as well as having a weekly meeting during teacher prep time. And that was it.
Okay. Thank you, Dana.
Audrey, can I just mention, I meant to call out during the policy update that we will certainly add the record retention review of policy with our Neola representative for our October agenda. So just wanted to.
I have, Janelle, I have things printed that you'll have to include by state and federal stuff if you want to take it and make copies of them, so you don't have to dig
Sure.
through everything when you go into closed session. But could you give them back to me when, after you make copies?
We can do that.
Because they're specific.
Yeah. As I put an email to you as well, we want to improve and get it right. What happened with the files, I don't know. I wasn't here, but we want to learn from it and improve. So that's what it's about.
Well, it is. It's about everything. And it's not just, it happened to me, so I'm talking. But how do we know it didn't happen with other people? We
Sure.
don't.
Sure. Appreciate it.
Okay, we move to the superintendent's report.
All right, I guess I get to talk a little more. Hi, everyone. It's been busy. I just got back from the legal conference last week in Sturgeon Bay, which was wonderful. Sturgeon Bay is great. I've never been there. Pretty awesome. I got to meet with a lot of superintendents, some of which are right next door and others that I've never met before, so pretty great. I'm getting established, developing relationships. I'm really impressed with the community so far. The outpouring of welcome and staff commitment. I've met with about 3/4 of the staff, individual sit-down meetings with them. Some have scheduled even a second sit-down now because apparently we have a lot to talk about, so it's good, which is great. And I have an open door and I stand by that wholeheartedly. I have, so as I mentioned before, I've met with over half the staff now, it's even more, and everyone else is scheduled that hasn't met with me yet. We held 2 admin retreats. Those two retreat sessions were really with our 5 administrative team members, and just trying to meet here on campus and get ourselves calibrated as a team. It's been great to, get ourselves grounded in the work that we're doing. We have a very clear collective vision for shared leadership this year, and I think it's really going to be important to articulate what that looks like to staff as we get back with new faces that are leading them. We have drafted a Board of Education workshop mission, vision, and values, norms, and goals document, so we're working through that. We have established, as the board is making the community aware, we have a workshop format. So next week, it's crazy to think, but only 1 week from now, we'll be back with a board workshop number 2. And that, the topic of that will be budget, and talking all things Budget 101, follow up from last time we had a Budget 101 meeting. I've arranged instructions with all the superintendents in our area, and I think they're tired of hearing from me already, so it's been good to connect with them. Met with a benefits consultant to roadmap our work for to try and secure the best employee insurance we can secure for our faculty. That's a hard process in an increasingly challenging landscape of insurance. And we've created a hiring process within our leadership team that helps to include staff members for the hired current vacancies. As you saw, we've been kind of busy with that. Met with WASDA. I'll be joining their new superintendent network this week actually, heading up to Stevens Point for the Superintendent's Academy, which will be great to connect with other superintendents and receive supports there. I've been working with a model for all staff members from custodial to classroom for feedback. I want people to feel like they can share their thoughts, ideas, and cares, concerns, and compliments with me as we're working through the year. Submitted open records requests to 5 individuals with similar topic, mostly around Barrett Financial. So I've been working with those individuals to try to make sure we capture what it is that they're asking for. I've received 2 more open records requests since this report, which does take time. Those things are, important to the community, but at the same time, I'm the person that processes those. So I want to work with you to make sure we have that clear when you ask for certain things. Planning a community picnic is underway. Postcard is going out here soon with a QR code, 21st of August from 4 to 6 p.m. It's going to be behind the school. It's going to be awesome. We got a plan for lots of meat, which is my favorite, and then of course corn as well. So there'll be some good food there, and we're meeting with people who want to help with that in the coming weeks. Should be a lot of fun. I think this is the first one we've done. I don't want to be the guy who says it's the first and it's not the first. There we go. That's it. So I guess it's the first. Hopefully it's good. We are ordering food by I think it's about 1,000 we're figuring for. So we'll see if that's enough. Challenge accepted. We have to eat 1,000 hamburgers. So I'll bring our 8th grade boys. They should be able to handle that pretty well. All right. So at this time, that's what I've been up to. I've got a lot more coming down the pike, but I invite anybody who wants to have conversations with me about Raymond and getting better and moving forward to knock on my door. Shoot me an email and we can set up a time. So it's been really great so far.
Into my comments.
I suppose I'll take the first stab at it. Well, it's been kind of exciting the last couple weeks. I mean, we haven't really seen each other in the last month or so, except for meetings and the workshop, but Racing County Fair happened this last week. I got to meet some more members of the community, which was nice to meet. A lot of little kids coming up to me, recognizing me, and, oh, hey, how you doing? And of course, my wife with her people from Waterford coming up to her. That was exciting. My wife and grandson are getting really excited about next month starting Raymond here in 4K. He's happy he's getting a week off or 2, but he's getting excited, can't wait to come to big boy school. And the whole picnic thing that Mike and I have been talking a lot about, working on that, I'm kind of excited about that. I am helping, I hope, if everything goes through with the corn roasting and everything, so kind of excited about that, so.
Well, you better be excited. It's a lot of corn.
I'm working on it. You guys better eat corn, because
Wear long sleeves.
1,000 quarters of corn, someone better eat it.
Yeah, did we factor 1 corn per person or 2?
I'm gonna go with 1. We're gonna be.
Let's be happy with 1, but eat it up.
Any other comments?
thanks to Mike for doing what you're doing, you're jumping in, getting us ready, trying to keep everything rolling at the pace that it needs to make sure we're set up for success for the upcoming school year. And just thank you for that. I know you jumped right in, and we had just voted in 2 meetings a month, and then all of these committee meetings kicking back off, so we didn't start you off slow. We actually jumped threw you in the deep end, so thank you.
That's it, yeah, I think I can swim. I think.
Okay. Announcements and correspondence. Do you have anything? I have nothing.
No, I think the big one will be the picnic on the 21st
Okay.
of August. Well, we have got the listing, we are gonna be seeing each other a lot in August, on the 5th, the 19th, the 22nd, twice. And the 21st before that, there you go. And then the 28th is back to school. That's the open house, which is gonna be great. Busy month. Summer's over.
So that leads us right into our future board meetings. We have a board workshop Monday, August 5th. The topic is finance.
Is Elise gonna be present for
And
that?
Yes, Elise will be here.
Great.
Physically or?
Physically present,
Okay.
not a floating head. She will be here.
Hopefully I'll catch it.
Great.
What time?
I'm sorry,
5:30.
5:30.
5:30 is really early for the community, just as a data point.
There's a regular, next is a regular meeting Monday, August 19th.
Stop pushing my button, sorry.
Budget hearing meeting will be Thursday, August 22nd, and the annual meeting Thursday, August 22nd.
Are the times gonna all be 5:30 for these, or have we not decided yet?
The board and regular meetings, we had talked about 5:30. The budget hearing annual meeting though was set as different times. I don't have them off the top of my head.
Board meeting's at 6.
Yeah, I thought we kept regular board meetings at 6:30, workshops at 5:30, and then
Okay.
the annual meeting was at a different time, just because we want community involvement, so.
Yeah, okay.
Workshops were a
We'll
little
make
bit
sure we-
different, because they can run a
There
little,
you go. And the budget hearing was set, I think that was a 6 o'clock.
yeah,
I'll have to look.
yeah. I looked it up.
We can certainly add that to the document. There will be lots of notice going out in the near future about the annual meeting as pursuant to the state statute. So the paper will have it published 10 days prior, and the budget and all those elements that are required.
Okay, at this time, the Board of Education for the Raymond School District will consider a motion on whether or not to conduct a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, specifically consideration of preliminary non-renewal notices for teachers.
So
We have
moved.
a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go to closed session. May I have a roll call, please?
Audrey Costich,
Yes.
Janelle Wise,
Yes.
Mike Powers,
Yes.
Ed Robinson,
Yes.
Patty Wren.
Yes.
We are now in closed session.
Yes. Just gonna go over there.
So my buddy, corn stars, they do like corn roasting, and they do that, all these different events, and they do other things, all because they want to do it to theirs. And so the corn is crushed. I have to sign the paper. So basically, so
Still playing the piano a lot? Still
Right.
playing at church?
Right.
I'm sure they